Hi everyone, Epting here. Thank you so much as always for watching. Today I just briefly wanted to come and talk from the topic of loving yourself, or is self-love selfish? If you're watching this video over YouTube, feel free to hit the subscribe button under the right of the video and hit that bell to receive notifications. And if you're watching on any other platform, including YouTube, I appreciate all of your insight and comments after watching this video and for sharing as well. So I just want to get right into it. I think that often, especially for those of us who were raised as believers, we think that the idea of self-love is selfish. But I think that it's a necessary component of any relationship, the foundation of any relationship, including romantic or personal relationship, business relationships, friendships, etc. So I wanted to share a scripture, which is Matthew 22 and 38. Well, 37 and 38. And I'm reading it right here. It says, "Thou shalt love," this is what Jesus said, "thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it." The second is like unto it. "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." So I think that often, or for years, I'll speak for myself, for years I was and still am at times more of a empath or an empathetic person. So the way I read that is you have to love people. You have to put the needs of others before yourself. And while that has some merit, the 38th verse says that you shall love your neighbor as yourself. So to the extent that you love yourself is the extent that you'll love your neighbor or other people. If that self-love does not exist, then how can you appropriately and properly love other people? So my contention definitely is that it is not selfish. And this is really important if you have been in a relationship that seems like it may have turned abusive, whether physically or emotionally or mentally. When we become mentally or emotionally exhausted, at times that's an indication that we need to step back from that relationship. If we're giving, trying to love, and that other person, of course, is rejecting our attempts to connect with them, often that's an indication that we need to step back, especially if it is damaging your emotional health or your own personal mental well-being. And I wanted to highlight too, just very briefly, in verse 37, it says, "You shall love the Lord, thy God with all thy heart, soul, mind, strength. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." So when he said that the second is like unto it, that reminds me that divinity is our true identity. It is your identity. In essence, when we love the Lord with all that we are loving ourselves because we are in union with him. We are loving, we are practicing self-love. And we have to continue to practice that self-love in order to extend it to those around us. And this is vital as well, because often if that is not there, that foundation of self-love, what happens is we can become very selfish. We can become very selfish in the sense that we look for other people to fill a void that they should never have to fill. So loving ourselves actually is not selfish. What becomes selfish is when we run after relationships, business partnerships, friendships, abusive relationships, because we are trying to get something from the person that we should be giving ourselves. And often people sense that. People intuitively, even if it's not at a conscious level, I'm sure we all have had the experience of being, if not being a clingy person, being around someone that is very clingy. And the natural reaction is usually to try to get away from that individual, because whether we are conscious of it or it's at a subconscious level, we see that they're seeking something from us that ultimately they should be giving themselves. So I want to just briefly talk about that, because I think that, like I said, when you're raised as a believer, often it's something that is not talked about. And I just want to encourage you this year to operate in self-care and self-love in order to be able to properly love others and to be able to give out all the gifts and talents that God has placed within you. So thank you so much, as always, for watching. We are resuming Christian suicide prevention, the hotline portion. So if you'd like to donate, that link is below. If you'd like to get involved and volunteer, also you can connect to our website below. And finally, the Passion into Purpose course is a course that I have just launched, and it is all about starting your social impact organization, including, if you'd like, step-by-step instructions to starting your nonprofit, so on and so forth. So look below the video to get involved with some of the things that we are doing. And as always, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon.